Greetings, Otaku faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and no, I did not lose my glasses. I am wearing contact lenses. But thank you for joining me once again this week for another Discussion of the Week video segment right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly. As always, I'm here to bring you the latest in this week's Discussion of the Week video segment. Now, first order of business before I jump into this week's discussion topic. Thundercats Season 2 is premiering on Saturday, March 24th, 2012 at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, there are two issues with this newfound information. Number one, I do not wake up at 8:30 in the morning on Saturdays. I have not done that in years. But that issue will easily be addressed with good old DVR. So I will record the episode when it premieres, and I will watch it once I get up that afternoon. But here's the bigger issue. Here's the bigger problem. As you all know from my update video, and as you all know from the schedule which is posted on the OAW YouTube channel, Saturdays in March are dedicated to the OAW Grand Prix, which will officially kick off this Saturday with the first round quarterfinals. Now here's the thing. Not only am I doing the Grand Prix on Saturdays, but also March 31st will kick off my Smallville season reviews, which were supposed to be recorded and uploaded on Saturday. So this is what I need you all help with. You all, you're all, I don't even know if that's proper English. Don't care, sue me. It's been a long day. This is what I need your help with. Now, I'm going to do the Thundercat reviews. Those reviews get out to so many people, and they've gotten such good reception with Season 1 that they're among my highest viewed videos. So I am going to be reviewing Thundercat Season 2. Here's the issue. What I want to know from you all is this. In the comments below, you will see two comments from me. These should be the first two comments on this video. Number one, do you want to see the Thundercats Season 2 reviews and the Smallville season reviews being uploaded together on Saturday, which means starting March 24th, you'll get two uploads every Saturday, the Thundercats review and the Smallville review? Or the second option will be, would you prefer that I postpone the Smallville reviews until the summer? Because let's face it, if I'm sticking to those videos have to be on Saturday, then the Smallville season reviews will not pick up until after Thundercats Season 2 wraps up. So, like I said, in the comments below, you'll see two options. Either A, both reviews on Saturday, or B, postpone Smallville until the summer. Let me know, thumb up, whichever one you prefer. And I will go ahead and I'll pretty much let those votes accumulate until the 24th. And then we'll find out what the upload schedule is going to look like from there on. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's jump into this week's discussion topic, which is a rather odd and rather unique topic. And I'll be honest with you all, I'm not sure how to approach this topic, but I'll try my best. Now, this week's Discussion of the Week topic comes from Snow Eclair. And I would assume that this is one of my female viewers with that name. So, let's go ahead and let's jump into this. Now, the YouTubers, their suggestion is a contrast and comparison of Young Girl in Fantastical World films, Alice in Wonderland, Pan's Labyrinth, Spirited Away, Wizard of Oz, even Inuyasha if you'd like. They follow a similar outline of a young girl stepping into some fantastical or parallel world. These movies have all done well critically and financially. What do you think is their appeal? How does each one stand on its own? Is there a formula or pattern you see in their plots? Their similarities, differences to each other, and your favorites. Okay, so this is a 5-question topic, and quite honestly, I could pretty much reduce these to the same questions in a way. So what we'll do is, or what I'll do is, I'll tackle what do I think their appeal is, how does each stand on its own, and is there a formula or a pattern? I'll sum that up in one, those three I'll sum up in one question. Similarities, difference. You know what? Fuck it. I don't even know how I'll be able. I'll tell you what. I'll just go ahead and I'll discuss this topic and I'll try my best to address each one. But a lot of these questions are going to intersect and, with each other. So let's discuss this. So pretty much what the topic for discussion is this sort of hell, for lack of a better term, it's an archetype in a way. What the YouTuber is suggesting is this, that as she suggested, or he suggested, I think this is a female, I apologize if it isn't, but what Snow Eclair is suggesting is this. We know that throughout history there have been numerous tales with this young female protagonist that is pulled from the real world or from her real world and sent into a fantastical world. And we've seen this multiple times, as I mentioned reading the comments. We're talking about stories like Alice in Wonderland. We're talking about stories like The Wizard of Oz, Pan's Labyrinth, Spirited Away, Inuyasha. But you could also incorporate some fairy tale stories such as Beauty and the Beast, such as Snow White. Because even in their realm, even in the world that those characters exist in, they are clearly stepping out of their norm and into something that is unfamiliar to them. So, like I said, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, The Little Mermaid. Hell, I would even go as far as say Mulan. We are talking about these female characters that, even though, that fantastical or that supernatural element of their world exists within the framework of that world, it is still stepping out of the familiar into the unknown. So pretty much, what is their appeal? Well, it's easy. The appeal to these stories is that by introducing a female protagonist, especially a very young female protagonist, such as a little girl like in Alice in Wonderland or in Pan's Labyrinth, what you're talking about is the reason why those stories are appealing is because we're talking about characters that are, for all intents and purposes, very vulnerable. They are little girls. So to the outside world, to us, the viewers, the audience, the readers, especially in our world, which is a male-dominated world, when we look at a story that has a female protagonist that's a little girl, we tend to sympathize with that character a little bit easier because we understand that this character is very vulnerable. They are not a threatening or a they do not pose a threat. They are not a character that comes across as strong in their own, on their own accord. They don't come across as being able to handle themselves. Although we do learn that in these stories, these characters, the way they're able to survive these circumstances and these situations is because they adapt. They come to grips with the reality of the situation and they're able to counteract. They're able to solve these problems. They're able to find solutions. They're able to think on their feet. And they are also aided by other characters who are native to that parallel world or to that supernatural world that help them. adapt and help them overcome these obstacles. Another example I wanted to use was the Narnia series with Lucy and what was the other sister? I forget the other sister's name, but they also fall into this category. So that's the appeal of this story, because we're talking about something that we are fairly familiar with. Also, take this in consideration. These female protagonists are our window into the supernatural. They're our window into the fantastical. We follow them. We follow them as they go through this journey. So, like I said, that's the appeal. Something that's familiar to us, being a little girl, going into something that's unfamiliar to us. And just as that character is dealing with the unknown and dealing with the fantastical, we as the reader or the viewer or the audience is doing the same. We're doing it along with them simultaneously. So that's the appeal. How does each one stand on its own? Well, I mean, I'll put it to you like this. Each story is able to stand on its own because even though it's following a narrative archetype, it's different. There are differences in each story that make them unique, even though many of them are actually influenced by the same story. Case in point, I could be wrong about this, but I know that Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz, the similarities between those stories and those female characters, it's not as coincidental as you may think. I think The Wizard of Oz is loosely influenced by Alice in Wonderland. You will actually find many stories that incorporate both characters in the same story. Like there are stories out there where Alice and Dorothy are in the same story, and they're journeying side by side. And Pan's Labyrinth, we know that as a fact, is loosely influenced by Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of like a retelling of it, if you will. Let me see. I want to think what other... Spirited Away, same thing. I'm not sure to what extent Hayao Miyazaki was influenced, but like I said, these stories all work within that narrative archetype. So they borrow from each other. They influence each other in that manner. Oh, and then of course Inuyasha. I mean, hell, the first chapter of Inuyasha is called "Down the Rabbit Hole and Back Again." That's clearly a Alice in Wonderland reference. So, okay, is there a formula or pattern you see in their plots? I mentioned that earlier. There are similarities, there are differences. I just mentioned that. So, to wrap up this discussion, what are some of my favorites? My favorites that I mentioned, to be honest with you, I actually like all of these stories, but my favorite ones would probably be, of course, Inuyasha. For any of you all who saw my anime favorites video, that I absolutely love that series. Pan's Labyrinth also, I love that film. I am a huge fan of Del Toro as a director. I love his Del Toro's his instinct. I guess you can call it instinct or his nature, but you will find in most of Del Toro's movies that he goes for makeup and animatronics before CGI, and I love that. Why? Because, to be honest with you all, makeup and animatronics is a dying breed in Hollywood. The more and more Hollywood cranks out CGI blockbusters, the less people want to take the time out to do makeup and animatronics. And for all, I mean, I can understand the reasoning behind it because it takes a very long time to do. But I also think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Rick Baker was in charge of makeup for Pan's Labyrinth as he was for the Hellboy movies, and I'm a huge fan of Rick Baker. I love Rick Baker. I love all of his work. I mean, he is a fan. He is such a master of working with makeup. It's phenomenal. And I'm sorry, but there's a level of respect that I have for both him and Del Toro when they will take the time out to do makeup and animatronics, and the shit looks just as good as it would in CGI, even better. Why? Because it is actually real. It's tangible. Like, the actors can touch it on the set, on camera. To use an example, I love the creature in Pan's Labyrinth, the one that has the eyes and the hands, and when he does this, it makes the face. I love that. And because of that, I love the Angel of Death in Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, with the wings that have the eyeballs in them. And you'll notice each one of those eyes moves differently. The same thing if you go back and you look at Hellboy 1 with Samael. Each of those eyes is moving differently. That's Del Toro. That's how he does that. So because of that, I'm a huge fan of Pan's Labyrinth. Someone just called me on Skype. Hugo just called me on Skype. We have to talk about the Grand Prix. So yeah, I mean, my timer just went off. I guess other ones I can mention. Spirited Away, of course, is one of my favorite films. The Wizard of Oz. I do like The Wizard of Oz, but I'm gonna tell you, my favorite adaptation of The Wizard of Oz is actually an audio drama. And if you'll give me a minute, I'll go ahead and I'll pull it up on my MP3 player. It is The Wizard of Oz. It came out in 2009, so it's a fairly recent audio drama, and it's a British production, but I believe it's a British production, but there's no credits. Okay, cool. There's no credits on the file, but if you all want to check it out, just look up The Wizard of Oz 2009 audio drama. Give it a listen. It's about, I want to say it's about 30 minutes, but it's really good. Hang on a minute. I'll actually be able to find out. I need info. Give me info, people. Artist info. Shit, okay, well, I think it's about 30 minutes. It's really good. The voice work on that is fantastic. Give it a listen. So yeah, so with that said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I want to thank Snow Eclair for the topic, and I apologize if I wasn't able to go in as much depth with it as I could have, but that would have really made for a very long video. And like I said, I wasn't sure exactly how to tackle this topic, so maybe in the future I'll revisit it, who knows. But please feel free at this moment to leave comments below for suggestions for next week's discussion of the week, and thumb up the ones that you see that you like, and that will be the one with the most thumbs up will be my discussion topic for next week. So with that said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I want to remind you all that tomorrow will actually be my The Ultimate Fighter Season 15 recap will be tomorrow night. It'll be up late. Because the episode is actually a 2.5-hour event. It's from 8 o'clock to 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I'll have to record that too, because tomorrow night is when I actually record the OAW Grand Prix quarterfinals. So as far as my Ultimate Fighter recap, that'll be up late tomorrow night. Saturday will be the Grand Prix quarterfinals, and Sunday will be my month of Miyazaki movie review of Spirited Away. So it will actually tie in with this video. Spirited Away is coming up Sunday. And also, before I sign off, I want to thank you all for all of you all who checked out my month of Miyazaki Princess Mononoke review. Last time I checked, it was over 1,000 views, so I'm really happy about that. You know, I'm glad that I was able to get that review out to those of you who, that's my 20-minute mark, for those of you all who are fans of that film, but also especially for those of you all who've never seen it and who checked out the review. I hope that you all have decided to check it out, and I promise with that film you won't be disappointed. But it's that review was very personal to me, being one of my all-time favorite film, but also because even though some people don't consider me still a member of the YouTube anime community, I do. I still consider myself a member, and it was very important for me to, the monthly Miyazaki videos were these are very important to me to get out, because no one in the YouTube anime community is really talking about them. Or, well, let me rephrase that statement. No one in the YouTube shonen community is talking about these, and it's a shame, because these are really good movies. These are really good films. This is the best anime that anime has to offer, and I would hate to see these films fall into obscurity. For those of you all who, for my younger viewers and whatnot, who may have never seen these films, to get these reviews out to educate you all and to bring some insight to open you guys' eyes to this, because you might have never even heard of these films, and it's a shame, because if you haven't, that's why I'm here, and that's why these reviews are important. So to have that video get that reception in the first week, and actually in the first 4 days or so, is very important to me. So I want to thank you all for that. But with that said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and I'll catch you cats later. Peace.